morning we're going to show you how to use this four-wheel pop-up camper for your camping trip, and so this is going to explain all the features of the vehicle so that you know how to have a great time out there and know how to operate the vehicle and all its functionality. So first off, I'm going to talk to you about the bike rack. We've got bungee cords that strap the bicycles down. This is an added safety measure as the rubber straps I don't feel are very strong, and it could risk falling off on the highway. So definitely double up with those bungee straps. I've locked the bicycles on here too for safety, so that can be unlocked. To open the vehicle, or to open the rack here, there's a pin on this underside. You pull it up and basically pull the rack out like this. It slides open, and this will give you access to the inside of the camper here. On your keys for the truck, you'll have every piece of key that you need for the camper, for all the boxes, and also for the vehicle key itself. So there's two locks on the camper. One is a deadbolt right here, and then one is just a regular door lock. You can choose which one you want to use. So once you have the door open, there's a ladder. Pull this out, and this is basically your step to get up into the vehicle. So to open the top, this would be your next step. You're basically going to take this ladder and you're going to come around to each side. There's 6 buckles. They're located here, another one on the side, and then one on the front, and those need to be unlatched. So you come around to each buckle, undo them all, and then we'll go to the other side. Once you've unlocked all 6 buckles, climb into the camper, and there's a lift mechanism, a lift panel right here. You have this black piece of handle to grab onto, and then there's a wood strap going across the roof, and so all you do is grab this and push upward. I'll show you a zoom in too. One thing that makes this easier to open is opening up the roof vent before you pop up the top like I did. I did it backwards. So that will, if you don't open it, sometimes it'll try to shut the door on you because of the air getting sucked in. It pulls the door closed. That time it worked out okay, but if you have an issue with that, just open up a window. Also, there's a side window to open up over here too. So then there's the back panel, and this one's pretty easy too. There's another grab handle here, and you have this wood beam. Basically just push up on both and snap them together. Now you're in business. So that's really all there is to it. There's a few straps in here that you can undo. These are bungees that pull the canvas in so that when you lower the top, it pulls it inwards so that the canvas doesn't get pinched by the top of the roof. You've got windows here. There's a storm protection too, so that you can still view while having the window open if you're in a storm. There's LED lights inside, so these are really easy on power consumption. You can run them as much as you want. There is a solar panel on the roof that will charge these. In terms of storage, right here you've got a sliding drawer. So this is where you can put a luggage bag. Inside here you've got your utensils, all your campware, kitchenware. There's a French press for coffee, cups, pots, pans, basically everything you'd need for cooking. In this compartment here you've got the fuse box. There's really not much you'd need to know here. If something stops working, consider checking one of the fuses. However, I don't think there should be an issue. This is the gas line for turning on the grill. I usually leave it on at all times, and then I just turn the gas on out on the side of the vehicle, and I turn it off when I'm done so that it doesn't leak. And that's a pretty simple way to do it. So to turn the stove on, you've got a 2-top burner. Inside this drawer, we've left some lighters. You're going to turn the gas on the outside, and then basically turn this knob to the on position. It's going to start putting gas through the burners, and then you'd hit this with the fire. I'm sure you know how to do that. Do turn the gas off when you're done though, just in case when vehicles are driving around, some fittings can come loose and you just don't want to risk any, losing the gas or have a safety issue with it. So it's always good practice to turn the gas off when you're done. In terms of the refrigerator, you've got this nice, efficient ARB refrigerator here. Excuse me. And to turn it, or I should say, you can open it from the top here. So this is to open it. I have it buckled down so that it doesn't move around when you're driving. You've got, actually, let's close this. I'll show you how to operate it. It's really simple. To turn it on, hold down the left button. If you see a green light, that means that it's powered on. When that light turns yellow, it means it's at its temperature, the set point, and the compressor's not on. So whenever the green light comes on, that just means your compressor's turned on and that it's circulating and recooling again. It'll kind of cycle on and off. So to change the temperature, the second button shows you what your set temperature is. It's at 34 degrees. So it's basically going to keep cooling down until this hits 34 degrees. If you need to adjust that temperature, again, you just find your set point and then you hit the plus button or the minus button to set your temperature to your ideal setting, then let it sit and it'll kick into that position. Let's just wait for this to process. So our set point is 34 degrees. Right now the refrigerator is measuring 56 degrees internally, and so that's going to start climbing down now that we turned this on. That's really all you need to know about it. You do want to keep this area on the side clear so that it can ventilate. There's the compressor fan is down here in the back, and if it doesn't get adequate air circulation, then the compressor can shut off on you, which would spoil your food. So best thing to do is keep that area clear. I'm going to turn this off, hold the power down. This should be able to run continuously. You've got a really large deep cycle battery right here and the solar panel on the roof. If for whatever reason this shuts off, there's a fuse down here just to check. If that burns out, then you know there's an issue. I've never had it happen, but that's there for safety. This is your power inverter. This is what you can use to power blow dryers or hair straighteners, whatever other gadgets you need to have. Cell phone chargers can work here too. Simple, just turn it on, and when the green light's on, it's powered up. You can plug your items into the receptacles. Make sure to turn it off when you're done because it does draw electricity in its standby mode, and it could run your battery out of batteries if you leave that on. One other thing to note is a solar charge controller. This right now is reading 13.8 volts. It's really charged up. If you see the battery, it's monitoring this battery down here. If the charge controller goes down to 12.4 volts or less, then that's getting pretty low. You may want to wait till the solar recharges the battery before continuing operation. I've never had it go below that, but just something to keep in mind. You've got a closet right here you can put your clothes into. That's just another storage spot. And then up top we have the slide out bed. This is really simple. Slides out here and you basically push your mattresses out and you can fit 2 people up there if need be. That's about a queen size mattress. Down lower you've got the lower bunk. This is another spot somebody can sleep. There's 2 sleeping bags, one for the top, one for the bottom. We provided sheets for your use anywhere you'd like. There's 4 pillows, and that's pretty much it for the sleeping situation. I do want to point out over here there's a window with an adjustable knob. This is great for the daytime. I'd keep that open to circulate air along with the roof fan, and that'll keep it nice and cool inside the camper. You can drive with this. At freeway speeds, I would be a little hesitant, but around town, it's not a problem at all. Or if you just want to have it cracked on the freeways, it's a good way to get airflow in here because it can get pretty hot in the summer times. And that will help the refrigerator with its circulation too. The roof fan right above is pretty simple. You've got an in and out setting on here. You have different setting speeds, and then you have the temperature, and so you can mess with that to figure out your ideal set point. The vent up top should be closed when you're driving. Anytime you're parked, it's a good idea to keep it open unless it's really dusty. What else? Oh yeah, so we have the toilet here. This is a Thetford porta potty. That's just dirt, don't worry. Nothing, no pooey there. Pretty simple to use. You've got a push button right here that puts water in that will slosh it around, and then there's a little pull handle down below that allows you to put the liquids inside the holding tank. When this gets full, if you spin it around, there's a slide button here, and you can actually lift off the top of the whole toilet. It will expose the under tank. There's a valve under there, and you can basically pour it out inside of a public restroom or any other restroom facility that has a toilet. So that's how you dispose of it. There is a chemical inside the holding tank for the urine. So when you empty the tank out, you're going to want to put the perfume or the dye inside there. And you basically just open up the valve and pour a few ounces of liquid inside not the water holding tank, but the actual black water tank, the lower component of it, and that will keep things smelling nice, because in the heat it can get pretty gross if you don't put that liquid inside there. Extra water tank right here. That's just, if you need, you can set it out on the back of the tailgate and have an extra water set up for yourself. I think we've covered just about everything inside. Let's see. Oh yeah, we do have the sink right here. It has a pump, so you can turn the water on. Let's let it prime. There you go, water coming out. Now it's flowing pretty good. If for whatever reason you want to use the manual pump, that's another option for you. There's a drain valve right here. You'll notice this won't fully drain, and you can see the water's inside there, unless you have the valve opened up on the side of the camper. This camper has a garden hose that plugs in to the side, and it goes into a bucket, and that's where your gray water goes, and then you have to dispose that according to the local laws. When you're inside the camper, there's also a 12-volt plug right under the stove that has cell phone chargers. You can plug in whatever accessories you like. That is permanently wired into the battery, so you can operate that at any time without having to turn the power inverter on, which is just to the right of it. The power inverter drains power when it's on. It's not the most efficient way to charge your devices, so if you do need to charge a cell phone, you're much better off having the power inverter off and just running it off of that 12-volt plug right there, which is continuous power. Now I'm going to show you a couple other features. Under this bench seat, there is a storage box right here. So if you lift this up, you can have access to it. Inside this blue box are some other useful items. One being a garden hose to fill up your freshwater tank. So we'll take that out, I'll show you how to use it. This green hose is what you use for your gray water. This is where your sink water will empty out of on the side of the camper into a bucket. The bucket is right here, so you'll want to pull that out too. And then also inside here is the chemical for inside of the toilet. This is what you want to put a few ounces of liquid into the toilet here. You're going to want to put it down into the black water tank, like we said, open up the valve and put it in there. That has to happen one time every time you dump the tank and it's empty. Also in the bottom is a shower, an external shower, which will go into the functionality of that. This green bag here contains an exterior shower area. It's basically something you can stand inside to just shield yourself if you want to take a shower outside, and I can show you how to use that too. So let's go connect up some of the items on the outside of the vehicle. Okay, well now we're going to show you how to connect the exterior features onto the camper. Inside we talked about the sink and its drain function. So this little cap here, you'll see there's actually going to be some water in there because we ran the faucet for just a second in there. So unscrew this, there it comes out. Typically you'd have this connected before you run any water. So connect the green hose, and there is a bucket here. This bucket is what you use to run the liquid into. stash this under the tire here just to keep it out of the way. And basically that's gonna contain your sink water, your dishwashing, things like that. Different areas have different ordinances on disposal for this. You'll need to research the local area to figure out how they want that disposed. Moving on, you have a water hose right here. This is a expandable garden hose, basically the same as the green one. This is for your fresh water only though. So you'll connect this onto your water spigot, run it up to the camper, and with your lock or your keys on your lock here, let's just show you the little black key. This is your water tank. Unscrew the cap. Inside is a hose. Your black hose connects onto here, goes to your water line. You plug it right into here and then turn it on. And basically once this starts backing up, then you know you're filled, and that's pretty simple. That's all you really have to do to fill a tank. It holds, I think it's 11 gallons of water. So put that back. This compartment is your propane. Right. Oh, there we go. Okay, so inside here is your propane tank. There's a green gauge here that tells you your propane level. This valve can be hand tightened on. You should do it every time you use this because it's just a hand tightened mechanism, and the bumps of travel on the road can knock that loose. To turn it on, rotate left. You want to do this very slowly so that you can see the level rise right there. Do this so that it doesn't trip your flow valve inside there. If you turn it on too fast, there's a little ball valve of some sort that prevents the propane from going up into the system, and you'd have to kind of repeat the process. So that's it. Turn it off when you're done. I did include some soapy water here. If you smell propane, you can shake this up and spray it on all the valves anywhere that there's a point that carries propane, and if it starts bubbling, you'll know that's where the leak is, and you can just tighten it. Shouldn't happen, but we have it in there just as an extra safety precaution. Oh yeah, so always remember to turn that valve off when you're not using it, or else it might be empty when you wake up the next morning. There's a chance of it. Okay, so that's locked up. This is your freshwater drain line. You won't need to use this, but if you twist this valve, it'll dump out your freshwater tank. Don't anticipate the need for that. Inside these boxes, there's a brass colored key, and these provide extra storage. I have included some jumper cables, extra radiator coolant, engine oil, and transmission fluid inside here. And then also some distilled water just in case you need it for the batteries. Everything's been topped off, but I put that in there just in case you need it. There's also a funnel too. Here's the fuel fill up. We've put a note on there, diesel fuel only. We'll rewrite that on there so you can read it better, but if you put regular gasoline in this engine, it will wreck the engine. So don't do it. It'd be really a bummer. Diesel fuel only. I can't stress that enough. Diesel fuel. All right, moving on to the inside of the vehicle. It is pretty basic. You've got power seats right here. This is your back and forward mechanism. That's really all you need to know there. Here's your lights. This is your running lights. In the daytime, you can hear it blinking. This is the on position for the lights. So that'll drain your batteries if you keep it on. So there's off. Inside, if you jump up here, can I see that camera, Meg? Let's see. The only thing you really need to notice is when you put the key in the ignition and twist it once, you'll see down here this wait to start light in the right hand side of the screen. There, it just flicked off. You have to do that every time. Diesel engines have glow plugs. They warm the engine block before you start the ignition. It helps the vehicle start better. So that's really all that's entailed. Here's turning the vehicle on. Pretty simple. And then there's off. Turn signals. Down is left turn signal, up is right turn signal. And then you have your windshield wipers that you can twist right there. If you need windshield fluid, you just push the bumper or the button in here, and that will squirt the windows. If you look down below, this is your e-brake. So there is e-brake on. Push that really hard. It's a big heavy truck. This pull handle releases the e-brake. And then if you need to access the hood, there's a hood release button here. Other than that, you can connect your phone via Bluetooth to the radio here. And through Bluetooth, you can play various apps like Pandora or music apps that you'd like to have. That's the best way to listen to the music. So just pair. Inside the glove box are instructions, all the owner's manuals for the CD player, and also, I'll just show you. So that's how you connect it, is through those manuals. Inside, we've also included an operation manual for the camper. It basically highlights everything we just went over in case you forget or don't have access to cell phone service to watch this video. So last thing we'll go over is how to close the top. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to close the top of the camper. Pretty simple. Take these white straps, connect them to their respective latch on the other side. Here's another one. Again, these pull the canvas inward when the top is coming down. And then in the back here, you have your silver grab handle. Pull the pin off, and you really use the leverage. This thing's really well balanced, so if you just hold on to this back piece right here, and then put your hand on the support, the wooden support. Don't put it on the canvas because it'll pop right through. And then you basically just pull with your left hand off the wall, and it comes down, and you can just lower the whole thing down. Again, to go up, it's the opposite. You just push up with your hand, with both arms on the silver push mechanism, and also with your hand, and it goes up. So here we go, back down. Pretty easy. And then on this side, here we'll switch spots so you can see. You have the same brown piece of wood for support, and you have this black handle. Pull it down, and you can support with your arm, with both arms here, and it just comes down like that. That's all you have to do. So after you've put the top down, you come outside. It's very important to check to make sure no canvas is coming through any of the lower part of the roof. Sometimes it'll stick through, and if it stays there, all the vibrations from the road will put a hole in the canvas. No canvas. This is where it usually would be sticking out. And if it did happen, you'd pull the ladder around to the side, and you just basically push up. Oh, look, you can see the canvas there. So you just push that inward, and that's how you do it. Grab your ladder, pull it around, and do all 6 latches. There's one on the front here. Okay, now we gotta go to the other side. Then take your ladder, put it back inside, and to do the bicycle rack, just some tips for you. The easiest way to do it is before you put the bikes on, close the rack, just so there's less weight on it. If you do have the bikes on, it might bind, so you just have to lift up a bit, and again, right here, just so that it slides into the locking mechanism. Then you take your trailer hitch pin right here, push it through, and you have your cotter pin on this side, which goes right through the hole. And that's all you have to do for the bike rack to make sure that this doesn't slide out on the road when you're driving. On the back of the vehicle, if you look to the left, right down on the left of the screen, there's a little door. Inside this door, if you unlock it, contains your grill, your propane outdoor grill. So this, kind of hard to see in there with the light. There you can kind of see it. I've got a couple propane tanks, portable ones, and then inside is your grill with a bunch of different accessories, and so that's a nice little outdoor feature. In addition, there's an aluminum table inside the camper that you can use for cooking outdoors too. I'm going to show you really quickly how to access the shower, the onboard shower for the vehicle. What you do is you come in open up the hood. You can hear it release right there. Come around to the front of the vehicle. Under the hood here, if you slide to the left, it releases the hood. And then this is the heat exchange for the shower. So see this piece of silver contraption here? You've got fluid from the radiator running through this and it heats it. And what you do is you basically pull these pins out, pop these two mechanisms down, and slide off. There's two of them. Inside the blue bin in the camper has all of the hoses for the shower. You're going to connect one end up to each, and it has a pump on one of the hoses. That pump gets plugged into your cigarette lighter, and that turns the system on, and you basically just put the other end of the hose into a bucket. It pulls water up, or you could put it into a creek. There's 50 feet of hose there, so you can run it pretty far. If you're out in the woods, the creek is a really fun thing to do. It'll draw water up through the system, pass it by this heat exchange, which heats it using the engine heat, and then it goes to the tip of the shower head, and you can use that to shower. Again, there's the green tent-like structure in there. It's a shower setup. It flips out and unfolds and turns into a covered shower for privacy if you need that too. So to put these back on, slide on, latch both pieces upward, slide the pins in, and that's it. On the back of the camper, if you're wondering what this black bag is, this is a trash bag. This is a pretty nice feature. It keeps your garbage outside rather than inside the camper. So there's two buckles. It slides open, and then in the top component there would this is where you store your garbage bags. So you put a garbage bag in there, and then you can put all your cans and keep it outside. And this is really nice if you're out in the woods for a couple days and don't have access to garbage facilities. Okay, one more feature I want to show you is the four-wheel drive. Hopefully you won't need it, but if you do get in a bind, it's there for you. The vehicle doesn't have front and rear lockers. It's just a basic four-wheel drive. So really all it's capable of doing is getting you up a fire road, and that's about it. If you don't do anything more extreme than that, because the vehicle's not equipped with recovery points, and if you get stuck, it would be a real challenge to get you out. It's a very heavy vehicle. So you have to have the engine on. Assume the engine's on. What you would do to engage four-wheel drive is shift the shift lever into neutral. You have to be stopped to do this. And then when you're in neutral, you have this lever down here and you pull it backward. That's going to be 4 high. That's going to be 4 low, all the way at the back. That's your lowest crawl ratio. If you're going to be in the snow, 4 high is where you want to be, and that don't take past 45 miles per hour. In addition to actuating this lever, you have to go out to the front of the vehicle. On each side of the front tires is a hub lock. So I'll show you where that's located too. Here's the hub lock. It says to lock it, the arrow points clockwise. So what you do is you twist, boom, that's locked. And that's going to engage your full four-wheel drive. If you don't do this, the wheels won't be locked to their four-wheel drive. When you're done, go counterclockwise to the unlock position. You have to do this on both wheels, and then you go back in the vehicle, put it in neutral, and shift the transfer case knob, the one we showed you, from 4 high and 4 low back down into two-wheel drive. We're back in. So now we're already in neutral at this point in time. Usually you would have to put it into neutral again to get out of the vehicle, push forward gently, and then on top of in the dash here, in the instrument cluster, it'll tell you if you're out of four-wheel drive. If you're in four-wheel high or low, it'll let you know. Put it back in park or drive, and now you're ready to go. Okay, one last reminder. Inside the glove box here are all your instruction manuals. Again, here's the operator's manual. The reason I wanted to show you this is if you scan through here, it has everything from refrigerator to toilet operation to folding pop-up tent for the shower to connecting the shower. So this is a great source of information too. That's got all the shower fixtures. It shows you how it works. So definitely reference this if you have immediate questions. Right there in the glove box. Okay, we've been through just about all the features on the vehicle now. This should give you some good information so that you can feel confident in taking your trip. We hope you have a great adventure. As always, if you have any questions, give me a call, shoot me a text message, or however else you'd like to contact through the booking service works too, and we'll make sure to get all your questions answered so that you can have a good time.